Good morning. I'm Ron Moore, and this is your morning cup of motivation. Excuse my apparel here. We are trying to get out of town. I got to go to the gym first, but I am here at a place that, oh my goodness, all the guys are going to love. Look at all these Corvettes out here. I mean, this is like Corvette City today. I mean, there's so many Corvettes here. Just looked at a sticker. I won't be buying one anytime soon. $166,000 for one of them that I looked at. Mercy. But that's quite a price for a car. Hey, we're going to be off from here, getting out of town for a few days, but just wanted to get with you this morning and share. Have you ever had those times in your life when you went through a tough time and yet you hung in there and you did things the way God wanted you to do, or maybe it was just a task that God had given you, and you completed the task, and it was a good feeling because you knew you did it God's way. Well, that's what the kids of Israel here in Exodus 39, they had been given the task of building the tabernacle and getting all the robes and all the ornate garments for the priests. And oh my goodness, glad I didn't live back then. I don't think I could have worn those kind of things. But anyway, I guess I could have if I lived then. But anyway, it was quite a task that they had been given. And look what it says here in verse 43. And Moses examined all the work, and behold, they had done it just as the Lord had commanded. This they had done. So Moses blessed them. I'm telling you, there's such a great feeling when you do things God's way, and you know that, man, I have hung in there. I remember one time when I realized that I had not run from a tough situation. I had stayed the course until God moved me. It was a great feeling, you know. Well, a number of years ago, I was summoned to Houston, Texas, by an older gentleman to spend some time with his adult son and just kind of help him maybe nail down God's will for his life, coach him a little bit, and just minister to him. And great man. And anyway, in the course of the weekend, the guy begins to tell me about it was actually his stepdad, begins to tell me about his stepdad and his mom and how they got together. He said, we grew up in he said that their family and our family grew up in the same neighborhood. He said, but his stepdad, he liked to go out and do things and experience life and do life, rather than just being a couch potato. So his wife, she's not so much so. She'd kind of rather just sit and, probably just vicariously live through television. But anyway, she just, didn't want to do much. Well, his mom, she was like that too. She liked to go out and do things and experience life and go for the gusto, His dad, however, not so much so again. They just kind of wanted to sit and do, he wanted to sit and do nothing. Well, he said, we even as teenagers, he said, we observed this, because the kids were all friends. So we observed this and we said, well, wouldn't that be something that, they'd really be better for each other, but, they didn't go there, they didn't go there. Well, a few years went by, and both his stepdad and his mom were widowed. And so he said it wasn't too long after that till they started seeing each other. And said it wasn't too much longer after that even that we got a call from Cozumel. The old man calls him from Cozumel and says, hey, we just want to let you know we got married. Well, I'm telling you, they spent the last 25 years of their life having a hoot and a holler. I mean, they traveled the world, they traveled the United States, and they had a great time. But you know what jumped out at me about that story is that they did it God's way. They did it God's way. They didn't take things into their own hands and say, maybe I would be better for this. No, they did it God's way. And God blessed them. And so I want to challenge you today. Do things God's way. You'll do things God's way. I know sometimes we don't get it. We don't understand. I'm going, God, what in the world are you doing? Drives me crazy. But in the end, it is so good when we look back and say, we've done things God's way. It is such a great feeling. And when we stand before him someday, it's going to be great to say we did things God's way. If you've never given your life to Jesus, I'm telling you, that's God's way. Just to say, Lord, I want you to be in control of my life. I receive what you did on the cross as payment in full for my sin. That's God's way. He is the way, the truth, the life. A child of God, you can do it God's way. If you've never given your life to Christ, that's the first step in doing things God's way. It's just letting him be the boss, the master, the manager, the Lord of your life. Hey, have a great day. We'll see you down the road in a few days. Bye-bye now.